about Goldberg and Undertaker first, Matt. Their little square off, where everybody was just gazing up at them again, like they were in a cinema in the ring. But what did you make of that and Undertaker eliminating him?
Another thing that I wasn't really a fan of. I mean, I know Goldberg's getting on a bit now, but he is in good shape. But when he stood up and he was like sizing up the Undertaker, then it just really hit home. Like, Undertaker's old.
Yeah.
I was looking, I was thinking, he's dyed his hair and he's dyed his beard, and that helped a little bit. But man, he's got a bit of a gut, and he's plodding around that ring. He's not moving with any pace, and I was like, oh, we have to see him go against Goldberg now. Don't expose him even more. When you put him against a guy of his own age, he ain't got any excuses then.
Yeah, I mean, but to me, I was more concerned. I was more concerned for the Undertaker, or for that matter, any of the other guys. Goldberg looked quite dangerous with his moves. Like I don't know what it is about that guy. He gets so revved up that he forgets what he's doing sometimes. You think of that incident what happened on Raw last week where the blood started coming out because he'd headbutted the damn door on the way out. You know, it's little things like that. You think this guy's adrenaline, it must be through the roof. But when he gets out there, he's forgetting what he's supposed to do. Like when he speared Undertaker, I thought, Jesus Christ. Like it looked dodgy as hell. I wouldn't want him to be the Undertaker. And then, then some of the other guys, he looks quite risky to have out there, if you ask me. And I can see maybe why WWE want to get him out of there quite quickly when he does his stuff. But yeah, like you say, the Undertaker. The other thing when they did square off though, Matt, I was actually looking at Goldberg in that sense and thinking, he's not what he used to be. The physical presence is not there. He might just be called Goldberg, but that's all he's got at the moment because he looked very small up against a lot of those guys. There's one thing to do it with Lesnar because Lesnar's Lesnar, but when you saw him against other guys, you sort of think, maybe he's not. He's not what you want to be seeing. But yeah, he got eliminated by the Undertaker, which I didn't really have a problem with. It wasn't anything amazing. I don't buy into this thing where people now think, it's Goldberg versus Undertaker. For me, that's not even a fault. I just think that was a moment for the Royal Rumble, and let's put it this way: there wasn't many of them. So you got one probably out of that. Now, coming up after, Matt, we then have Roman Reigns. Not only does this guy in the Royal Rumble again at number 30, he then eliminates The Undertaker. I mean, fans by this point are chanting, "This is bullshit." I mean, that was really heard throughout. But when that happened, it got even worse. And then I started to think, oh dear God, no. Could it really be? Could it really be? What did you make of that, Matt? And are we? I don't want to go off on a thing here of maybe I'm there before it's happened. But are we now to suspect that potentially this could be all part of the bigger plan to make Roman the heel? With this being the first sort of ripple that we see where he eliminated The Undertaker. Because, what did you make into it, Matt? And do you, like most people, now see Roman versus Taker at WrestleMania because of this?
It's definitely a possibility. But then saying that, what's going on with Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns, Is he going to fight him in a handicap match, then both on him, Because it's getting that ridiculous now that, how indestructible Roman is. Yeah. But yeah, the way he eliminated The Undertaker, and then they had that thing where he's like, apparently Michael Cole said, because he's got great lip reading, he said, "This is my yard now." So, I think someone told Michael Cole to say that, but, apparently he heard that.
The big dog.
I wouldn't be a huge fan of this kind of thing going into this, but, if he's going to turn heel, it seems like the right time to do it. Because there's just so many questions coming into this now. Like, apparently Roman Reigns is not liked by Triple H and Stephanie, and that's why the previous year they went all out to make it hell for Roman in the Royal Rumble. And then this year, he somehow got the golden ticket. He got, number 30. He was allowed to come in when, if you think about it, they shouldn't have known that he would be able to compete in the Royal Rumble, because by this point he could have been Universal Champion. So it's been decided somewhere by the powers that be that he was coming into this Royal Rumble before it even started then, really. Or he was going to get that ticket if his plan A failed, which was to win the title. So I'm just waiting now for it all to be revealed and be like, Vince can come out and just say to everyone, haha, I fooled you, he was always my golden child, you know?
Yeah.
This was all just a massive, elaborate plan to get Roman over.
No, it's, it is bloody ridiculous. By this point, I was like, oh, this is another year then. Because there was only one way I was going to come out of this and think, oh, thankfully they've done the right thing. But yeah, he eliminates the Undertaker. Listen, the whole thing with Braun Strowman, I guess the way they could get around it is that he's up against him at Fastlane. I did see a lot of speculation where it was going to be Roman and Goldberg teaming up together, taking on Braun Strowman and another person, and then have him go in the feud with Undertaker where he starts to kind of, maybe, I don't know if he goes full-blown heel then, or it happens in the match. Maybe it's like a retirement thing. I mean, imagine the amount that he would have if he was the guy that ended the Undertaker, and he does it by sort of cheating, maybe. You then get the number one heel. You get all that smoke that Lesnar got a couple of years ago, and it all goes on Roman Reigns. That, for me, would make the best sense, but listen, we've said that so many times, Matt. We've tried to predict and foresee these things, and what do? They have him going out still trying to be cheered. So neither would surprise me. I'm hoping they go the way that I just said, but who knows? We get out of that part though, Matt, and then of course it's down to three, isn't it? It's Bray, it's Orton, and of course Mr. Roman Reigns. And I'm thinking to myself, is it finally Bray Wyatt's moment? Is this it? Oh no, it's not. He's been chucked over like nobody's business. Not even a worry there. And then straight after, Randy Orton gets the big pop. And I don't think it was a pop as in fans were like so happy Randy Orton won. I think they were just relieved, Matt, that Roman Reigns didn't win. And in a way, Matt, is this a sure sign that Roman is going heel? Because would you have that guy against another babyface right at the end to get that reaction? Because it was almost like they done it on purpose. Like, no, they definitely want Roman to win, so the perfect ending, the big pop will be the guy that eliminates him. That's how we'll get Orton over on this one. That's how it felt for me anyway. They might not have been that creative. They might just come across like that accidentally. But certainly I was thinking like that. And of course, standing before us, the second time he's won it, Randy Orton. And it's not a terrible winner, but it's not anybody fresh. It's not that shocking. And to me, it's just Randy Orton could have got there in another way if they want to go the way with Bray Wyatt, or maybe he is all about Cena and Orton again. Who knows? But I don't know. I really do think that he didn't have to win it. I was disappointed that it wasn't somebody fresh. But for you, Matt, what was your taking away from the result and the way it all went down at the end?
It leaves me kind of wondering now, like, when you're saying, like, are they going to turn Roman, like, heel, or are they just going to keep doing what they're doing and playing him incredibly grey, because it's kind of like they just thought to themselves, what would, like, make this building erupt now? What would really shock people? And they're like, throw Roman out there. And they're like, good idea. Because, like, if you really hate Roman, you was really invested in making sure, like, this guy didn't win. You was really there hoping that it was like a few years ago, Bray, anyone but you, Roman.
Yeah.
That's what we was all thinking. Yeah. And then if you were one of those few Roman Reigns fans out there, you was like, yeah, come on, Roman, go for it. Even though I wouldn't like to be one of those guys in that audience on that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, Randy Orton winning, like you said, nothing new, nothing original. Like we said before, it was kind of like, you felt like a plan B.
You called it. You called it.
The safe bet is Orton. So yeah, they went with that, and I don't want to see John Cena versus Randy Orton. I'm hoping something more elaborate might happen at the Elimination Chamber. So maybe something interesting will happen there, Because if we get to John Cena versus Orton, I'm going to be like, oh, again? Is this like the 15th time?
Yeah, for me, I mean, if they do go the way we all suspect they go, and they go with Bray versus Orton, I think it would have been just better if Bray had been the guy that wins the Rumble, and instead of winning the title at the Chamber, where, you know, I don't know, I mean, winning it at the Chamber and winning it at WrestleMania are like two completely different things. I just think it would have been so much more impactful if he was going for it at WrestleMania than, you know, winning it at the Elimination Chamber. I don't know. I just don't see too much in that. And then a lot of you think, you know, the belt's been passed around month to month, so what's the chances that the belt will change anyway? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of questions into that. So God knows where they go with it. Maybe does Orton challenge? I don't know. Does Orton go and challenge the Raw guy? Who knows where they're going to go with this? But they seem very firmly fixed that Orton had to be the guy that wins it. And like I said, I was very disappointed it wasn't somebody new. Matt, how do you rate this in the end? Very difficult. For me, I'm giving this a 2, and it is really below. But listen, there was nothing incredible about this. It was very unoriginal. The whole thing, it was, to me, like I said at the beginning, the fact I said this was boring. I've never said that about a Royal Rumble. I've said I've been disappointed and I thought it was ridiculous the way they put it, but I've never been bored through it. I was actually bored through this one. There wasn't enough anything in it. There wasn't enough, you know, even a couple of legends coming back would have done it for me. Even one of those Mexican guys would have done it for me from '97. Bring one of them back. But the fact there was none of that, and there was no NXT guys, like, Ty Dillinger, but he's not going to stay there. I very much doubt that. And it was Joe I was talking about, or a Shinsuke, that type of thing. Not a Ty Dillinger just because it sounds cute at 10. And then of course Finn Balor didn't come back into it. Slightly disappointing. Nothing really happened with Seth Rollins and Triple H was also disappointing. So I don't know, and you know, just the ending of it. It wasn't the climax to it was awful. You know, the last time I've seen a really good climax was probably, I forgot what year it was, Matt, but it was the one where they was at MSG again, and John Cena come out at number 30, and nobody thought he was coming back that early from his injury. And I remember it was him, Batista, Triple H. There was another guy as well at one time, and they were all standing there. And this is the thing they didn't do in this match, Matt. They never let the crowd just be like, "Whoa, who's going to win out of the final 4? Who's the next 3?" They just did it so fast, Matt. The fans couldn't even get that moment where you go, "Okay, which guy is going to WrestleMania?" They just didn't do that. They were like so fast that WWE kind of thought to themselves, we need to get this done really quick so nobody even sees it coming. Let's just do it really fast so nobody's even thinking about it too much. We don't want the chants going on. That's almost how it come across to me, Matt. What about you, Matt? What do you give the sum up of the rating and the overall match itself?
For me, you know, just because I've got a soft spot for the Royal Rumble, it's like one of my favourite kind of matches of the year. I'm going to give it 2.5, and that's because like it gets a low rating from me because when people were getting chucked out, I don't really remember too many years when everyone was just getting chucked out far too easily. People like Dolph Ziggler just going flying over, Baron Corbin just goes flying over. You know, no one was really making a conscious effort to really hold on and make it look like winning this like match means everything. To go on to WrestleMania means everything. They were just like, oh well, throw me out. I don't mind. I'll be back on SmackDown next week. You know, it just felt like that. It didn't really feel like they was giving it their all. So kind of drew me out of the moment in those senses, and like we said about the incredibly scripted parts of it, and no surprise entrance, and no like WWE aren't stupid. They know who we are expecting, and they know who we want to see, and of course they have the right not to go with those people, but at least give us one, at least give us something. I mean, like you said about Ty Dillinger, I know people expected that, but you know, I wouldn't have been too sad if he wasn't in it, you know, because it was too obvious, that one, you know. That was one that almost everyone knew was going to be in there.
Yeah, no angle whatsoever. So not too great. An overall show, I felt like the single matches were all pretty decent, no doubt. You know, I liked all of them, but the Rumble, the thing that is really all should be about, I think